And I call this meeting
There's
of
no
the
doubt about that.
Madisonville City Council to order. And we'll begin this afternoon with the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Council Member Tony Spade. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for who you are and for what you do and for what you're going to do, Heavenly Father. And we just pray that as we begin this meeting tonight that you would oversee all aspects of it, Heavenly Father, that you would guide our decisions and give us the wisdom that we need to make Madisonville a better place. Father, I ask that you bless this community, watch over us, and keep us safe, and as always, forgive us where we fail you. In Christ's name, amen.
Would you call the roll?
Yes, sir. Misty Cavanaugh. Here. Tony Space.
Here.
Adam Townsend.
Here.
Larry Knopfsinger.
Here.
Frank Stevenson.
Here.
Chad Mincer.
Here.
Frank, we do have a quorum.
Okay. Our first item of business will be the review and approval of the minutes of the previous regularly scheduled council meeting.
The December 19, 2022 City Council meeting was held at 4:30 p.m. It was called to order by Mayor Kevin Cotton. We had the Pledge of Allegiance and invocation by Council Member Chad Mincer. We had present the mayor and all city council members. We had approval of the minutes of December the 5th, 2022. We had approval of the bills and payroll. We had award presentations to the finance office, Corey Alexander and Amy Cruz. We had department reports from the fire department and the police department. We had some life-saving awards from Chief Steve Bryan from the Madisonville Police Department. We also had new business. We had resolutions where we accepted a bid for the West Side Wastewater Treatment Plant clarifier for the amount of $2,888,000 from Herrick Company Incorporated. We also accepted a bid for a surplus lot where we approved the sealed bid for $3,000 for the surplus lot, and we had a surplus vehicle for the police department that we approved surplus. We also approved the updates for the personnel policy and employee handbook, and we went into closed session. We had a motion to go in closed session, and we had a motion to come out of closed session, and we also had a motion to authorize up to $2 million to be paid in 6 equal installments to Hopkins County Development Corporation for an incentive package for the economic development purposes, and we had an adjournment.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? If not, do I have a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Has a motion been made and seconded to approve the minutes? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, we have review of bills and payroll.
We have the total general fund of $246,635.04. Total sanitation of $96,488.44. Electric utility office of $3,939.52. Water and filter of $122,690.99. Wastewater collection and treatment of $18,744.36. We have a estimated biweekly payroll of governmental of $57,182, police of $159,106, fire of $156,518, transportation $34,895, cemetery of $9,562, park $16,506, sanitation of $42,382, light fund of $89,619, wastewater treatment of $17,734. Wastewater collection of $31,231, water and filter of $49,315, for a total estimated biweekly payroll of $664,048.
Are there any questions regarding the bills and payroll? If not, do I have a motion to accept the bills and payroll as presented?
Moved.
So moved, and is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the bills and payroll as presented. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Motion passes. Next, we have a council committee report.
Councilmember Stevenson, at this time, I would like to make a motion for the appointment of yourself, Frank Stevenson, to chairman of the city council for the year of, for this year.
Are there any other nominations? It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you for your vote of confidence. Now we have department reports. Planning and zoning with Debbie Todd.
Well, the December report's in front of you. Between the weather and the higher interest rates, you can see we slowed down quite a bit on building permits. We only had 3 issued. One of them was for a multifamily development. That was for Bellevue Apartments going in out on West Knoll Avenue. That's 27 units, I believe, going in out there. During December, we also had 2 sign permits we issued, 5 demo permits, all of these upon the request of the city, on behalf of the city, 4 HVAC permits, 2 zoning compliance letters went out. So normally I give you a year-end report fiscal year on what we've done year to date and previous year comparison. We're going to switch that from January to December, so you all should have a copy of that year-end comparison for this year versus last year, kind of see what we did compared to what we did last year. As you'll notice, our single-family permits were up quite a bit, and I think this was probably due to demand and lower interest rates. We had 27 this year. The prior year, we only issued 13. Residential accessories, I'm going to go through the ones that really are a lot different than the ones that are very similar. Residential additions was a little bit off. We had 13 this year. Residential additions, previous year, we had 57. Residential accessories, we were down about half. We issued 40 permits for residential accessories. These are outbuildings, pools, fences, those type of permits. We had 80 the year before. Going on down the list, most of those are pretty similar what we had done the previous years. Commercial alterations was off just a little bit with 19 this past year, 27 the previous year. Total building permits for this past year, or 2022, was 136, and the prior year was 212. And you can go on down the comparison to our other categories. Sign permits, we were 1 difference between the year. Demolition permits, we were down from 24 to 33. HVAC permits, they were down 31 to 43. Everything else is pretty similar to what we did. We had a few more zoning compliance requests this past year, and we had a few more zoning map amendments, and a lot of those was the text amendments we did. If you'll recall, we had several of those that we amended our ordinance this past year. Everything else is pretty similar. Mobile food permits down at the bottom, we had 32 this past year. Prior year was 29, so we've issued a bunch of those. That seems to be very popular. I anticipate us to have just as many this year, if not more. I've already issued 1. Be happy to answer any questions.
Appreciate the comparative data. That's good information. Thank you.
Welcome.
Next, we have some water department updates from Alan Todd and Keith Browning.
All right, so I guess everybody's pretty much aware of what we've been dealing with over the past week. With the cold snap that came in, we experienced some low water levels in the tanks, and we're working on rebuilding that. We're on the upward trend now. A lot of water leaks at people's homes were problems that we saw that caused, and then people using water from their, turning on their faucets to keep the pipes from freezing. It just ended up putting a tremendous strain on what we could actually hold in our tanks. And there was a couple of big leaks. I think Nebo had a large leak one day that took quite a bit of water out of one of the tanks. So we hit the probably zero in Grampian, which is, as far as I know, has not been heard of before. So in good news, I think it's back up to just a little under 20 now. So in a week, we've made quite a few gains. If you all want to ask some questions, I'd be glad to answer what I can. I know we had distribution guys. The crew was out working constantly trying to help fill these tanks, reroute water through different valves and different pipes, and for the most part, we eventually have done well. The pressure zone's full again. Most of the districts are full, so the water's going to go to the least resistance, so it wants to fill up the districts and then come back to us and fill our tanks, and so now we're seeing Grampian fill up. Another thing that was a cause that we saw is that before anybody tries to tell you all or anybody that the treatment plant's too small, that's not the case whatsoever. It's just, it's a membrane filtration plant we've talked about, as you all approved, getting membranes. When the cold weather hits, it causes these membranes to not work as efficient. So you cannot put as much flow through them as you would during the normal summer. And in addition to, we've got new membrane filters on order that will not be here until this fall. And one of those is really not performing very well. So that hurts us also. So that was another thing that contributed to what we're dealing with. But through a lot of hard work and paying a lot of attention to the system and tweaking it the best we can, it is back doing fairly well for what the time of the year is still. These warm temperatures have not hurt us at all. It's been kind of a blessing to have the temperature rise. The water's come up some so that we're able to put more water out into the system.
The commercial residential leaks have you guys kind of facilitated or kind of worked with? I know they're probably not all.
The ones that we were able to document, Chad, the ones we were able to document were 212 documented, but that doesn't count the ones that we were fortunate enough to get wastewater collection, volunteered some guys, and we're out just driving. When we passed a house that had water coming out the front door, we just turned it off. So, and those aren't recorded, but the 212 were actually recorded that we shut off, and that's from households as well as businesses. I mean, we had several businesses call Tuesday morning after being off for Christmas and come into 8 to 10 inches of water in their floor. So, I mean, that's a lot of water that we were losing that nobody, thankfully our system stayed tight. We walked the grounds, walked all of our mains through the woods for 3 straight days. Just kind of kept walking them, and no main leaks that we were able to visibly see. It was just strictly customer leaks, and like Alan said, from people letting their water run for 3 or 4 days straight to keep from their lines freezing.
No, Alan kind of alluded to that we were kind of getting close on Grampian Hills. Are we thinking we're going to be fully restored maybe in a couple weeks?
That's our hope. We don't know the exact time when it'll happen yet, but we anticipate it to continue to climb, and hopefully, if we continue, nothing really goes wrong and nothing happens, we should make improvements.
I guess on behalf of me, on behalf of council, I really appreciate both of you guys kind of taking the leadership roles that you guys have. And it's unfortunate that things happen, but things do happen when we get really cold temperatures, and appreciate all of you guys' hard work and your all's team's hard work.
There was a lot of effort made to
I'd like-
keep the water going out.
Yeah.
One thing I will, I'll take a little plug right here. They use drones to do flowers of these lines, and I don't think it has the capability for heat imaging, right? In it. I would recommend when it comes time for the budget, and Keith goes into the budget with this and recommends to get the drone that has the thermal imaging capabilities. It would be highly recommended to get one to go with what they have now. And let them kind of see the warmer spots and see the water a lot quicker. And even in the darkness, when we were working, a lot of times they were working well into the night using these drones. I don't think they're very expensive, but
Very valuable.
it's not. I'm helping. Just
It's like the,
I do know that one of the questions that people have been looking at, that I know while it wasn't imposed by the city, the car wash thing. Do we think that possibly with the way we're looking at, that we may, a possible timeline of when they may lift that due to us being able to say we're at these numbers?
I can answer that for you, Adam. I spoke with Randy from the state today. Once we are reporting to him every day where our tanks are at. When we reach a number that he is happy with, that's when he'll tell us, okay, let's open everything back up and we'll be good to go. Because what he's afraid of, we don't want to get to that borderline spot and him say, okay, let's open it up. Everybody runs to the car wash, and now we have to say, well, we got to shut you back down. So we want to get to that point to where when we open them, we can open them, and hopefully that's sooner than later.
just wanted to add to Councilmember Mentzer's comments and commendation to the incredible hard work and reference you made to interdepartmental coordination and cooperation that played into that. While the rest of us maybe have been complaining a bit about water pressure and otherwise enjoying a holiday season, many hands and hearts and minds were at work to overcome what was sort of a form of a perfect storm with the city. So our hats off to you. Thank you. Okay, you have a business licenses report in your packet to review. I believe that's on the screen as well. Not yet? Did we?
But that's okay. If anybody needs a copy, I'll send it to you, but I don't think I put it in there.
No problem.
Yeah. Is it in your packet, Adam?
No, but
I've got
Yeah.
one we can share.
I've got it, but I just don't have it on the screen. It's in the packets, it's just not on the screen.
Okay, next we have new business, the first reading of an ordinance.
The ordinance of the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, providing the creation and sale of a franchise for the privilege of constructing, transporting, operating, maintaining, and distributing natural gas along and under public right-of-way within the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, for a term of 5 years, in consideration for which the successful franchisee shall pay to the city an annual sum equal to 1% of gross revenues, and further establish a bid procedure for the award of said franchise to the successful bidder. Be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky as follows. Whereas the existing natural gas franchise agreement between the City of Madisonville, Kentucky and Atmos Energy Corporation expires on March 19, 2023. And whereas the city has determined that it is in the best interest of its citizens to create and offer for sale a new natural gas franchise for a term of 5 years. Be it ordained by the City of Madisonville, Kentucky, hereinafter referred to as the city, that the mayor of the city or such person as the mayor may designate shall offer for sale to the highest and best bidder a non-exclusive franchise to enter upon, acquire, construct, operate, maintain, and repair in the public right-of-way of the city a gas distribution system with the corporation, within the corporate boundaries of the city, subject to the provisions of the franchise agreement attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference. The mayor or such other person as the mayor may designate shall, as soon as practicable after passage of this ordinance, offer for sale under sealed bids the franchise and privileges created herein. Such bids shall be in writing and shall be delivered to the city clerk at 67 North Main Street, Madisonville, Kentucky, about 10:30 a.m. on February 28, 2023. Advertisements for such bids shall be published in accordance with the requirements of KRS Chapter 424. All costs for such advertisement shall be borne by the successful franchisee. Sealed bids offered for the purchase of this franchise shall be publicly open and read at 10:30 a.m. Central Standard Time on February 28, 2023. All bids shall State the bidder's acceptance of the terms and provisions set forth in the attached franchise agreement. The mayor shall present all written bids to the city of Madisonville at its first meeting scheduled after the bid deadline for the city's consideration and approval. The city reserves the right to accept any bid, to reject any and all bids received, to waive any irregularities or informalities in awarding the franchise, and to accept what is its opinion as the best responsive and responsible bid. In the event all bids are rejected, the city reserves the right to direct by resolution or ordinance that the franchise created hereunder shall be offered again for sale under a satisfactory bid until a satisfactory bid is received and approved. The franchise created by this ordinance shall become effective when the franchise agreement is signed by the successful bidder and the city. The foregoing ordinance is read and is presented to a regular meeting of the City Council for a first reading on the 3rd of January 2023 and the second reading on the 17th day of January 2023.
Okay. Now we have a series of executive orders. Kim?
And the executive order relating to the appointment of Shannon Harmon to the Hopkins County Board of Property Tax Appeals. Kevin Cotton, Mayor of the City of Madisonville, pursuant to the authority vested in him by applicable law, does hereby order as follows: that Shannon Harmon shall be and hereby is appointed to the Hopkins County Board of Property Tax Appeals, that the term of Shannon Harmon shall be for a period of 2 years, commencing on January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025. And that Shannon Harmon shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville. Okay.
Next.
And we have another executive order relating to the appointment of City Council committee assignments. And Kevin Cotton, Mayor of the City of Madisonville, pursuant to the authority vested in him, does hereby order as follows: the following City Council committee assignments are hereby made. He's made Budget and Finance, Frank Stevenson as Chair, Tony Space and Chad Mincer. Public Safety, Tony Space as Chair, Larry Knopfsinger and Adam Townsend. Annexation and Zoning is Frank Stevenson as Chair, Misty Cavanaugh and Larry Knopfsinger. Parks and Rec is Chad Mincer as Chair, Larry Knopfsinger and Misty Cavanaugh. Economic Development is Frank Stevenson as Chair, Tony Space and Adam Townsend. Tourism, Adam Townsend as Chair, Larry Knopfsinger and Frank Stevenson. Property and Risk Management, Misty Cavanaugh as Chair, Adam Townsend and Tony Space. Transportation Sanitation, Adam Townsend as Chair, Misty Cavanaugh and Chad Mincer. Water, Wastewater, Stormwater and Engineering is Misty Cavanaugh as Chair, Tony Space and Chad Mincer. Electric, Larry Knopfsinger is Chair, Frank Stevenson and Chad Mincer. Airport, Larry Knopfsinger is Chair, Tony Space and Frank Stevenson. And the Pension Board, Tony Space is the Chair. And that the term of each committee member shall be for a period of 1 year, commencing on the first day of January 2023 and continuing until December 31st, and that each committee member shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville.
Okay. Next, we have municipal orders relating to the appointments to the Tourism Advisory Board.
The first one, I've got several of these. The first one is 2023-1. It's the reappointment of Emily McEnany to Tourism Advisory Board, and that Emily shall serve and hereby is reappointed to the Tourism Advisory Board, and that the term of Emily McEnany shall end on December 31st, 2023, and that she shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville, and that this order shall become effective upon adoption by the City Council.
Do I have a motion for the reappointment of Emily McEnany to the Tourism Advisory Board?
So move.
Is there a second? Second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
The second one is the reappointment of Karen Tapp to the Tourism Advisory Board, and that Karen Tapp shall be and hereby is reappointed to the Tourism Advisory Board, and that the term of Karen Tapp shall end on December 31st, 2023, and that Karen Tapp shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville, and that this order shall become effective upon adoption by City Council.
Is there a motion to approve the reappointment of Karen Tapp to the Tourism Advisory Board?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
And the third one is the reappointment of Tim Witzel to the Tourism Advisory Board, and that Tim Witzel shall be and hereby is reappointed to the Tourism Advisory Board, and that the term of Tim Witzel shall end on December the 31st, 2023, and that Tim Witzel shall serve in accordance with the laws of the United States and Commonwealth of Kentucky and the ordinances of the City of Madisonville, and this order shall become effective upon adoption by City Council.
We have a motion to approve the reappointment of Tim Witzel to the Tourism Advisory Board.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
Kim, just read the name and
Thank
the
you.
term. There's no need to read.
Thank you.
Here we go.
The next one is Michael Hunt. Michael Hunt is reappointed, and that the term will end on December 31st, 2023.
All those, is there a motion for the reappointment of Michael Hunt?
Move.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
The next one is Elizabeth Odom, and she is being reappointed, and her term will end on December the 31st, 2023.
Is there a motion to approve the reappointment of Elizabeth Oldham to the Tourism Advisory Board?
So move.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
The next one is the reappointment of LeBaron McAdoo, and his appointment is till December the 31st, 2023.
Is there a motion to approve the reappointment of LeBaron McAdoo to the
So
Tourism Advisory Board?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
The next one is an appointment of Lyle Crouch, and his appointment is a new appointment, and it shall end on December the 31st, 2023.
Is there a motion to approve the appointment of Lyle Crouch to the Tourism Advisory Board?
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion passes.
And the last one is the appointment of Chip Tate, and that Chip Tate, I'm sorry, that should not say reappointed, it's appointed to the, and his appointment is till December the 31st, 2023.
Is there a motion for the appointment of Chip Tate to the Tourism Advisory Board?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Moved
I don't
and-
know who's got that.
I kind of did him, and then I'll do Tony. Okay.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Was there, I'm sorry, was there a question? Okay. Motion passes. Okay. Next, we have a request to address the council by, is there another one here?
I already did that.
Let's step out.
It was in one of those
Just give him,
readings.
it'll just be a minute. He'll be back.
What is it?
We're both gonna be part of it.
Oh,
Okay.
Ron, okay.
Where is Ron?
Yeah, Ron, I was getting ready to introduce Ron, but
Yeah.
he's out of the room, I guess.
Thank you for taking the time to see us. Ron and I have been up here before to discuss Teague Cemetery. We asked for help. Neither one of us are politicians, neither one of us are in government, neither one of us know what we're doing really. But we were rejected for help, so we started a 501c 13 to take ownership of the cemetery. It was donated to us. The final paperwork is being shipped. It's not here at the moment, but it should be very soon. we we don't have the resources to get the cemetery up to a maintainable level. Mr. Lewis, Joe Lewis, and I have discussed in the past, you know, they couldn't do anything at all because it was in private hands, even though the people who owned it didn't know that. So, that they owned it. So, we've taken care of that. Like I said, there's a few T's to cross and I's to dot, but we need help getting it to a serviceable condition, a maintainable condition. You know, like I said, I haven't been to too many city council meetings, so forgive me. But saying the pledge reminded me, I've been saying the pledge since I was old enough to walk. I mean, I've said it a million times. I mean, I don't know, that's maybe hyperbole, but you say it and you don't think about what you're saying. You just go through the motions. I didn't know when I was 5 years old in kindergarten saying it what it meant. Probably didn't think about it all throughout school. It wasn't until I was in the Navy, in the military, and even then I was just a kid. I was 18 years old. But you start to appreciate those words a lot more. It starts to mean something to you. I don't know how many of you are veterans, but I think even when I got out of the Navy at 22 years old, the true appreciation comes later as you think back and you think about what that means. You know, I know people today are like that 5-year-old, even as adults, they don't think about indivisible with liberty and justice for all. Those are powerful words. I mean, if you think about them, indivisible. They've been saying the Pledge of Allegiance since 1892, and for a long time in this country, there was a lot of division. For something that's indivisible, we had segregation. There's nobody here to blame for segregation. Nobody here is to blame for racism. But we have a responsibility to correct these things when they come about. The city pays for 2 cemeteries that the inhabitants of Teague Cemetery were not allowed because of segregation. You got black cemeteries on the outskirts of town because of a wrong. And I think everybody here will agree that it was wrong. There's nothing, and not one person here is responsible for those actions. But today we have a responsibility to do what we can. We have veterans in that cemetery. Looks like the middle of any woods you ever go to, you stumble across. But we ask for help to undo a wrong, and we didn't get it last time. I want to say props to Misty Kavanaugh. She was wonderful. But one of the questions that was asked in the last time we were here was, I don't see a financial payback to this. The veterans that died, they paid in full a long time ago. We shouldn't be asking, well, how are we going to make that money back? I mean, it's our responsibility and they deserve dignity. We go to foreign countries like South Korea and we go to Vietnam to bring back our veterans, to give them a little dignity in death. We can't go a mile down the road to give our veterans a slight bit of dignity. I mean, I encourage anybody to go down there and look at it. I've got pictures that I would be glad to share. We need help, and that's what we're coming to ask. We've done everything we can so far. We've got the 501c. We've got it out of private hands. We would like to request help from the jail, whoever we can to get that into and I think it's our responsibility as a community. We have people here with relatives there. We have, again, we have World War I, Spanish-American War veterans. I mean, we talk a good talk. We talk about Veterans Day parades, but where are, when the rubber meets the road, where are we? And I'm sorry if, I'll let Mr. Elliott.
Yes, Mr. Elliott, do you have something to add to that?
Good afternoon, Mr. Knopfsinger, new face, everyone else. I know, Chief, I didn't get a handshake. You kind of slipped in on me. One thing I'd like to say, and I agree totally with Craig, your military service, you appreciate it more and more the older you get. People say thanks for your service. Now I say it was my honor to serve this great country. Now, you asked me back in 71, I'm glad I'm out. You know, war's still going on. You know, the police officers, the firemen, all heroes. They put their lives on the line every day. We put our lives on the line by dodging hand grenades. You know, that's crazy. You know, just like a horse running into a burning bar. Firemen running to burning house, that's crazy. Police officers, gunfire breaks out. Everybody splits. Police officers run toward the gunfire. You know, these guys are my heroes, as well as every vet, because I know that this veteran has, even going through basic training, your life is on the line. And I agree 100% with Craig. Now, down to what we're here for. We have, and I've got the paperwork here, IRS. We're pleased to tell you we have determined you're exempt from federal income tax on IRS code 501C13 that deals with cemeteries only. That's what we're about. We want to bring these cemeteries up to standard, maintain them. Commonwealth of Kentucky, Articles of Incorporation. And I will make these documents available to anybody on the council at any time, as well as bank records. If necessary, by monthly reports, quarterly reports, semi-annual or annual, whatever. My books, our books, are open for anyone to examine. We want you to know what we're doing, where donated money is going, and why it's going. Now, Craig has been working with Mike Lewis. The thought is that Mike Lewis can get this cemetery to the maintenance stage. There has never been a maintenance program on this cemetery. There have been volunteers that have gone and cleaned up. I was with Brenda Watson in 91. I was the oldest, so I operated the chainsaw, okay? You were there, yeah. But there's no maintenance program. You cannot. Volunteers are wonderful, and we will still need volunteers. But volunteers cannot be expected to maintain monthly a cemetery. Couple of months, 3 months, and oh, I've done my share, and then grows back up. That's what has happened in 91. That's what happened in 2006 with Teen Challenge. And it's time for us to get serious about caring for the veterans. And you know, every veteran, their families are in the mix as well. Every veteran I meet, is this your wife? Well, I appreciate you because I know his service has affected your life. You go through basic. You go in as a kid. You come out as a soldier. And that is very different. A very different attitude. Okay. The reason that we need the money is to make this cemetery pay for itself through interest. Now, I was talking to Edward Jones today, Stephanie Townsend. You know her because she knows all of you. And she said, call her if there's any question. She didn't have a rate plan to email me because she hadn't gotten it yet. But she said 4.9% interest will give us $200 a month for 8 months. Every 6 months we get $800. That's $1,600 a year. Now, my challenge is to find someone to cut it for $200. How many times? Don't know. But if it won't be twice a month. There's a big canopy up there, and that canopy will keep sunlight out. Maybe looking at 3 weeks. If we can push it to 1 month, I think we can handle it. And once this cemetery is on a interest-bearing fix where we can take care of it, then somebody said, well, there's a cemetery out in, what's the name of it? I've never been out there.
So you're talking about spreading the model. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think we're all aware of the effort that you have endured and persevered in over time regarding this cemetery and your concern for it. I appreciate your presentation tonight. I guess what I would want to focus on is commending you for doing the work, making the investment of, because it's not, I've been through it, it's not easy paperwork to get designated as a tax exempt organization under the Internal Revenue Code. That having been done positions you for soliciting contributions from like-minded citizens who share this concern and want to participate by their giving to the fund. And you've got a website here that you've established. That's freedomforeverfund.godaddysites.com. That website has a place to people can donate through that, and information about where to whom to write the check and where to send it, and that positions you to develop this into a fund that, even as you said, the vision, if you can collect enough funds, you can even get an endowment that produces income on an ongoing basis in perpetuity, if you will. But the beginning point is what you've accomplished. That's what's needed for the community to be able to respond to your solicitation. And that's the hard work of this kind of approach that you've even yourself said this is a model then that can be adapted for other situations. But it's a private, it's a private initiative. It's not a private operation. It's a tax exempt, but it's a private initiative, not a government operation.
Right.
That's what I think this falls into.
Obligation. That's the question. Are you obligated, as you should be, to, you spent $9,435 on cemeteries, I think that was the number, last month. Why them and not this one?
There's a history there that well precedes me, the question that we've talked before is we're really not looking to take on other cemeteries that have been abandoned in the past. We've got what we've got, and that's about all we can manage, and it's enough. But I don't think I would encourage the council to support adding additional cemeteries for the.
What I'm asking is for help in servicing it. Like I said, you didn't help them because it was a long time ago when black people weren't allowed to be buried in those cemeteries. So, like I said, if you don't fix it, then you're condoning it, and that's.
If we, now see, this is not Jefferson County. You know, it's not, I think it's Versailles County. There's a lot of money, private money over there. But we cannot tap that for Madisonville City. Once we move out into Kentucky and start looking, and that will be after Hopkins County. After we look at Hopkins County, now we'll talk to the judge executive about helping us out in the county. But if we cannot make this go, then there's no hope that we can take on, look at, help establish maintenance programs for other cemeteries.
Well, this is job one, and you're now in a position to actually solicit funds that people can give, and like other charitable operations, be a tax deductible gift under the IRS guidelines. So that's the next step, and I encourage citizens of the community to consider contributing to that. It's a worthy cause.
Being one of the poorest counties in Kentucky, I think it'd be kind of hard push. Now, there's money here. There is money here. I know it. I've been around some of the people with more money than they can count. But getting them to see this need as it should be seen is another point. Now, I appreciate the money that we have taken in. I really do, because we need it.
You're already beginning to get donations to it, contribution.
Yes, starting to, but nowhere near what it would take.
You're just getting started. You just announced your 501c13.
Yes.
Ron, I'm sure, as you know, when the city formulates its budget, it invites multiple not-for-profit entities to make presentations to the city council. They get a whole host of requests ranging from several thousands to $100,000 to $250, and then the council takes those all into consideration when they enact their budget. So that's an opportunity that certainly will be available to you and your agency. I do want to alert the council the good news, and Ron doesn't even know this, but we finally got the deed back from Michigan on December the 27th, and I have it in my possession, awaiting your signature and awaiting the signature of Susan Cruzan and Mr. Shell, who just left. And once he signs the deed, you all can take it to the courthouse and record it, and you all will be the proud record title owners of the cemetery.
You think we'll change the name?
What'd you say?
Okay, I'm not bright enough to know all the city ins and outs. I have to depend upon people like Mr. Evans, Mr. Stevenson, Chad, Mincer, Amy, Kavanaugh, and
Well, as Mr. Evans pointed out, there is a time for you to make an appeal, having established the things you've gone over here today. It's quite an accomplishment to get done for your cause. But those processes take place in March, usually in March or early April of the year for budgeting purposes. So you keep your ear to the ground about that and timing. Okay.
Stan Hill, I'll appoint him. Anyway, he's good at asking for money. I'm not. Even when I was in business, a photographer, as a commercial photographer, I hated asking for money. I did great work, but it's just, I like the work, okay? I like the cemetery. I like the idea behind restoring this cemetery as well as the one south of here, Barnsley, that's the name of it. I've never been there. I don't know how big it is. I don't know who's out there, but I understand they recently had a weather-related event out there, and we'll take a look at it. You know, but our number one goal is Teague Cemetery. If we can turn Teague Cemetery into the dream I think it should be, interest paid for maintenance, we can do it anywhere, and we can show people that we can do it. That will open up Hopkins County, that will open up Kentucky, and maybe go national.
Well, as you continue your work, we just wish you grace and favor in this process as you've invested time and energy in it, and the fruit is already beginning to unfold with things like the title to the deed and the establishment of a tax-exempt organization that becomes the vehicle for soliciting and amassing funds to support this. So thank you.
Okay, now one other question. You've been to the website?
Sir.
What did you think of it?
Sorry, what I think of it? Well, it's pretty straightforward. I mean, you know, it has what you need on it. It can always be improved. Somebody can come up with, maybe we could do this or that, but you got the basics. And GoDaddy's a good host. It's out there a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Happy New Year to all.
And to you as well, sir.
You as well. Thank you.
One final item of business.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Okay. Meeting stands adjourned.